afternoon. Welcome to the Star Teacher, Star Students Award Ceremony presented by Gaston County Schools and sponsored by the Gaston Gazette. I am Todd Hagans from the Gaston County Schools Communications Department, and it is a pleasure to have all of you here with us this afternoon. Today, we are recognizing the best of the best students and the best teachers in Gaston County. The Star Teacher, Star Student Award Ceremony is one of our most popular programs because it recognizes outstanding high school students and the teachers who go above and beyond the call of duty to see that they are successful. To offer our official welcome, I would like to introduce the Cherryville Township representative on the Gaston County Board of Education. Please welcome Mr. Mark Upchurch.
Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Gaston County Board of Education and our chairman, Mr. Kenneth Lutz, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Star Teacher, Star Student Awards program. At this time, I'd like to introduce my fellow board members, Ms. Dot Guthrie, Mr. Chris Hale, and Mr. Mark Stevens. I would also like to introduce Representative Dana Bumgardner, the educators being recognized are the best of the best in Gaston County and our teachers who go beyond expectations every day to make a significant difference. We would like to thank the Gaston Gazette for sponsoring today's program, and we appreciate Dr. Ann Tibbett and her staff at the Schiele Museum for making it possible for us to use this wonderful facility. Again, welcome to today's program. We look forward to meeting our outstanding STAR students and STAR teachers in just a few minutes. To everyone being recognized this afternoon, the Board of Education commends you and salutes you on a job well done. We are confident that our STAR students will go on to become professionals and leaders in the community. And we know that the STAR teachers will continue to instill a love of learning in the students who enter their classrooms. Congratulations to all our honorees, and we hope you enjoy this afternoon's ceremony. Thank you.
We would like to recognize a few other people that are with us this afternoon. We have a number of our principals and assistant principals from our schools with us. We have central office administrators and our high school counselors. We certainly appreciate your support of this program. We also have a number of other guests of our STAR teachers and STAR students. We welcome you as well. And we acknowledge the parents. They probably are the proudest people in this room. At this time, to bring greetings on behalf of our event sponsor, the Gaston Gazette, please welcome the editor of the Gaston Gazette, Hunter Bretzius.
I'm a little nervous about this microphone. Is this about right? Good afternoon. On behalf of the Gaston Gazette and GastonGazette.com, I'm pleased to be here. I'm certainly pleased that the Gazette is sponsoring this event. It's one of my favorite events that we sponsor in the community all year long. It's always fun to hear the special bond between teachers and their students, particularly when we hear it from the students' mouths. In case you don't listen really closely today, you'll have another chance to read about it in the Gazette on Friday, when we will publish a photograph of the students and their teacher and their essay. So everybody be sure to watch for that. It's another chance to hear about it. I'd like to recognize Kim Workman, our publisher's assistant, who has worked with Todd to help with this event. And she's done a really great job, as she does with everything. So listen closely and enjoy today. Thank you very much.
We are ready to meet the STAR students and the STAR teachers for 2014. I will introduce each student and teacher, and have the student come to the podium to read the essay. We would like for the teacher to please stand beside the podium. We have a place marked here on the floor for you to stand as the student shares his or her essay. Then we will give the teacher an opportunity to make brief remarks before the awards presentation. Superintendent Booker and members of the Board of Education will present to the STAR teacher the official STAR Teacher Award, a framed copy of the STAR student's essay, and a Gaston County Schools pen. Each student will receive the STAR student plaque and a STAR student pen. Both of you will receive a gift certificate for one free meal at the Golden Corral. We begin our presentation with our first student from Ashbrook High School, Chandler K. Chandler is planning to attend North Carolina State University to major in biomedical engineering. His STAR teacher is Chad McAlister, who teaches English at Ashbrook High School.
Hi, once again, my name is Chandler K. I'm planning on going to NC State University, and I want to talk to you about this man right here. Personally, I cannot think of anybody better to nominate for Ashbrook's STAR teacher than Ashbrook's very own Mr. Chad McAlister, also known as McAlister, also known as the Deli, also known as Mac Daddy. Mr. McAlister has served such a monumental role in my life through my 4 seasons on the cross-country team and 3 semesters of AP Prep and AP Level English classes. My first memories of this great teacher take place all the way back to the summer before freshman year. After a summer run, the cross-country team went out to eat at Johnny B's, and I heard Mr. McAlister tell my older sister, this is a direct quote, "I just really wouldn't want to be the kid whose name I know on the first day of class." Now, as a timid freshman whom McAlister knew by name, this could not have made me more anxious for my first day of high school. Luckily, I never had him freshman year. He did not teach AP Prep freshman English. However, I got my fair share of class time with 3 consecutive years of at least 1 semester full of late-night paper editing. Academically, no one has made me appreciate the literary arts more than this man has. Physically, no one has made me dread practice more than this man has. Coach McAlister has served as the Mr. Hyde to the easygoing Coach Hess's Dr. Jackal. And though he's not quite as sinister. When my teammates and I lined up to warm up and saw Coach McAlister, we instantly knew that hill intervals and runs would pursue. As a coach and teacher, Mr. McAlister has taught me that hard work, time management, and the pursuit of perfection. He is the type of man to critique someone when necessary, but in the next minute offer them advice that Polonius could not match. Spending 4 years with anyone will provide you with a close relationship and countless inside jokes, ranging from plane rides home to a participation award from last year's senior class for a Crucible video project that undoubtedly could have won Best Film. Mr. McAlister always preaches well-roundedness and the goal of making a person as proficient in as many aspects of life as possible. And I wholeheartedly believe it when I say that Mr. McAlister has made me as well-rounded as no one else has in academic, physical, and social aspects. And for that, I say thank you.
Well, I didn't get time to prepare, and I'm normally not this nervous and flustered and speechless at the same time, but first off, we spent last week in Italy together, and he didn't breathe a word of this ceremony at all the whole time, so good for you. I couldn't keep a secret like that. But I guess thank you, and not just for today, but you know, it's been 4 years, and I feel very lucky. I mean, you're the star, along with your parents, for what you've done, and the last 4 years, I'm so happy I've got to be a part of this journey. A small monumental part, because there's a lot to you, but thank you so much for allowing me to do that, and please keep me informed, because I know you're going to be great, and I can't wait to see what you become. And by the way, not just NC State, but a Park Scholar. So, thank you.
Our second STAR student from Ashbrook High School is Rachel Purvis. Rachel plans to attend UNC Chapel Hill to major in biology or anthropology. Her star teacher is Kent Hyde, a physical education and health teacher at Holbrook Middle School.
There wasn't a more intimidating or frightening sound at Holbrook Middle School than Coach Hyde's very deep and authoritative voice echoing down the breezeway, especially when it was calling, "Purvis." I remember on the first days of 6th grade, I was terrified of this man. I would soon learn that this former high-ranking officer in the military had much more to offer than a hearty voice, but wise words and a sense of pride that made his students want to perform to their best ability and reach their full potential. On the day of the county track meet, a big deal for any middle school track runner, anxiety overcame me as I woke up. Shaken up, I left gym class and proceeded to my next selective. I hadn't gotten far before I heard the recognizable roar calling my name down the walkway, Purvis. Aware of my nerves and fear of disappointment, Coach Hyde took me in his office and pointed to a sheet of paper above his computer that displayed a quote, one that has remained above my desk at home, in my soccer bag, and in all my agendas since that day in my 8th grade year. This quote by Theodore Roosevelt stated, "Far better is it to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who never enjoy nor suffer, because they live in a gray twilight that knows nor victory nor defeat." Coach Hyde told me that it is far better to try and succeed and fail than not to try at all, because at least you had the courage to try in the first place, impacting my decision to take a rigorous class load, participate in cross-country, and to run for student government offices I had no guarantee of winning. The senior year, a time filled with joys of acceptances and disappointment of rejections, forced me to reflect back on this quote, ultimately encouraging me to persevere through some of the most challenging times. A role model for any American, Coach Hyde demanded respect, encouraging his students, even some of the most avid troublemakers in the class, to perform and to act in a way where they could be proud of their actions. Some of the greatest lessons I have learned in my schooling career have had no relation to Catherine the Great, derivatives, or ATP synthase, but to the life lessons my teachers have shared. And though I may have forgotten the perfect technique to hit a badminton birdie or the steps to a square dance routine, Coach Hyde's impact in and out of the classroom has accompanied me since those middle school days, and to me that defines a truly influential teacher, someone who has impact that stretches beyond the classroom and who instills values that stay with the students for the rest of their lives. So thank you, Coach Hyde.
One like Coach McAlister, I just found out about this about 30 minutes ago. My current student teacher from App State actually brought me over here, and I thought it was a reception for the student teachers and their mentor teachers. But I'm truly honored. You know, when I think of Rachel, I think of our back in 6th grade in a health class, and when you ask students to respond to a question, if you get a sentence out of them, you're doing pretty good. Purvis is over there on page 3, and she's still writing a dissertation, still going strong. And I said, Rachel, you've met the standard, and she's still going strong. And so when I think of Rachel Purvis, I think of perseverance. I mean, she's got a bum leg right now, but she's going to persevere. And whatever the challenge that is put before her, she's going to persevere. And so for that, she'll always be successful in all her endeavors in life, and I'm very proud of her.
From Bessemer City High School, the star student is Sarah Lynn Curran. Sarah Lynn plans to attend UNC Charlotte, and her major is undecided at this time. Her star teacher is Michael Minnick, a math teacher at Bessemer City High School.
I've had the honor of having Mr. Michael Minnick as my teacher for both semesters of senior year for AP Calculus AB and BC. Mr. Minnick, or as our class likes to call him, Mikey, Big Mike, or Minnick, has greatly impacted my life as well as many others through his creative and entertaining teaching methods. Although having a class of 6 smart-mouthed high school girls would be exhausting for any teacher, Mr. Minnick does so with his exceptional ability to stay focused while grasping our attention with an occasional joke. Although we bug him with a million nosy questions a day, Mr. Minnick takes the time to patiently answer each one. Not to mention the occasional heartwarming answer. For example, when Mr. Minnick was asked, "What's your favorite gift?" his response was, "My son." He also shows us that family comes first in his life by asking us to excuse him to check on his wife after her appointments. Mr. Minnick is a very giving person. Not only is he willing to type up an exceptional letter of recommendation for scholarships on the drop of a hat, but whenever a student is cold, he lets them borrow his very own sweater. To show our appreciation for him on his birthday, our calculus class threw him a surprise party, including a variety of his favorite non-lactose foods, a large handmade card, and even flowers. We remind him daily that we are the 6 daughters he never had. Mr. Minnick has made learning so fun that during Spirit Week for Twin Day, my best friend and I surprised him by showing up as his twins. We had the Michael J. Minnick name badges, sweater vests, ties, khakis, and all. Previously an engineer, Mr. Minnick is one of the smartest people I've ever known. His success has influenced my choice in attending his alumni school of UNC Charlotte. When confronted with the news of my best friend being in an accident, Mr. Minnick came to my class and personally informed me in his gentle manner. Although it was a very hard time for everyone in our tight-knit class, Mr. Minnick comforted us and took the time to talk with us. When asked how he was doing after this event, Mr. Minnick, still very upset, responded saying, "I just have so much invested in these kids." Just a reminder of how much effort he puts into building a relationship with his students. He exceeds the expectations that I have for a teacher by not only caring about our success in class, but also in our further endeavors in our lives.
Thank you so much.
And I made him a collage of all the funny pictures we've taken with him for Spirit Week and just fun times.
You know, it's really easy to be a star teacher when you have star students. And Sarah Lynn, thank you so much for the honor. I am truly blessed and privileged to have you and the rest of the gang in my calculus class. Thank you.
From Cherryville High School, our star student is Chloe Holt. Chloe plans to attend Wake Forest University to major in education. Her star teacher is Lance Holt, also her father. He is a social studies teacher at Cherryville High School.
It has been suggested that there was a little bit of nepotism that influenced this decision, but I can assure you that the 2 semesters that I had my father were probably the hardest 2 semesters in our relationship as a father and daughter. Because I aspire to become a teacher, I tend to be observant of teachers' varying methods and styles of educating and take note of certain aspects I would like to employ in my own classroom one day. Overall, my father is the teacher that I will emulate when I begin my career, which is why I chose him as Cherryville High School's star teacher for 2014. His teaching style is tremendously structured, with no group work, but also has light, fun moments. Every student receives his respect, and all are equal in his eyes. My father does everything in his power to give each student the skills and knowledge they need to succeed. His dedication is exceptional, and his passion is obvious. But what makes a star teacher is not the influence on just one student, but many. A plethora of students contested to Mr. Holt's amazing abilities as a teacher. Katie Walls said he is such a spectacular teacher because he tries to fit his teaching styles to the needs of the specific class. Mr. Holt is very encouraging and pushes students to perform to the best of their ability, was Caroline Strapp's comment. Kelly Scarlett Hopper added, he's not only there for his students academically, but he's also morally supportive. As my father and my teacher, he plays a dual role in my life and excels at both. He has taught me that every student is different, and changing approaches is necessary to being successful. He has taught me to persevere, to work hard, and to strive to be the best that I can be. My father has taught me that it's not only the grade that matters, it's learning and actually retaining the information. I have watched as my father worked with students individually for hours after school to help the student feel more confident about knowing the subject matter. He teaches U.S. history, but he also teaches life lessons through his actions. He demonstrates kindness, compassion, dedication, and responsibility in every lesson. My greatest achievement would be becoming a teacher as exceptional as my father. I hope to one day have the influence on my students that he has on his.
I apologize. I'm not nervous, I'm just really moved. I struggle every day internally, whether I do a good enough job. But I try. I would like to say that the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, but in this case, it's completely different. Her success has, in my opinion, little to do with me. She's very driven and very disciplined, and I'm so proud of her. As a father, it was hard to separate having her in class, because I love her so much and I care so much about her. And sometimes it was hard.
He kicked me out of his class one day.
But I feel honored to be here among you people, among you very intelligent students and you dedicated teachers. And I hope that I can live up to the award that I'm getting today. Thank you.
Next is East Gaston High School. The star student is Lanie Summerlin. Lanie plans to attend Clemson University to major in political science. Her star teacher is Dale Starnes, a social studies teacher at East Gaston High School.
When I initially encountered Coach Starnes, the first aspect that caught my attention was his characteristic mustache. However, after 3 classes with Coach Starnes, I have learned that behind that mustache resides a hilarious, caring, and remarkable individual. Coach Starnes stands out from the other educators at East Gaston due to his attention-grabbing teaching techniques and focus on applicable life lessons. I understand all teachers sometimes struggle to retain the attention of teenagers, but I appreciate how Coach Starnes always tries to make history and politics interesting. For example, the historical plantations and government buildings I toured with Coach Starnes as a part of Government and Students Club brought history to life in a way standard teaching never could have. Also, my friend Billy and I probably would never have made a student film as our semester project without Coach Starnes' descriptive teaching and emphasis on research. Coach Starnes planted the seeds of curiosity that spurred us to go above and beyond in creating a movie that showed the Civil War on many levels and has been viewed hundreds of times. Anyone can teach history, but only a few educators can instill in their students a true, multifaceted appreciation of social science. Even so, Coach Starnes has had the greatest influence on my life and the lives of countless other students through the wise lessons he purposely shares. While some teachers care only about covering the required material, Coach Starnes seizes every opportunity to educate his students on how to be successful in life beyond the high school classroom. For example, Coach Starnes once devoted an entire class period to discussing the stock market in order to give my fellow classmates and I a better understanding of how to make worthwhile investments as adults. Also, during AP Government, Coach Starnes constantly reiterated the value of political involvement as he encouraged all students to determine their own political views and fight for their beliefs. I will always value the time I spent as one of Coach Starnes' students. His unique personality and teaching methods fostered the love of politics and history that had already thrived within me. I'm confident Coach Starnes helped me become a more knowledgeable student and a better equipped person. While teachers may come and go at East Gaston, there will never be another Coach Starnes.
I have no clue what I'm about to say. My principal's sitting there going, oh, heck. I could never be the teacher of the year at East Gaston, and there's a reason for that. I always tell teachers things they don't want to hear. I'll say things like, I haven't worked in 20 years. I haven't had a job in 20 years. And they're going, what are you talking about? And I'm going, I'm a teacher. I absolutely love what I'm doing. And some people don't get that. On top of that, if you do a good job, they'll give you 2 weeks off for Christmas break. Give you another week for Easter, and if you're still there at the end, they give you an 8-week vacation. I don't know how anybody couldn't teach. And if you don't coach, you could leave like 3:15 every afternoon. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I could stand up here for hours and talk about students like Lanie that have spent their time and let me know how much I meant to them. It has to be a love. It's not a job. And if teachers don't believe that, they need to get out. I love what I've been doing. On top of that, I'm retiring. And now they're going to pay me not to teach. I couldn't believe they were paying me to teach. It's been a great ride. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably something in this line again. Lanie, you have touched my heart. I hope to go to your wedding. I hope to hear about your successes, and maybe I'll come down to Clemson and see you a little bit. Love you. Thank you.
Our next honoree comes from Forestview High School. The star student is Morgan Flitt. Morgan plans to attend UNC Charlotte to double major in psychology and business. Her star teacher is Dan Ghent, a science teacher at Forestview High School.
So for some background on what you're about to hear, he taught me AP Earth my senior year, but also taught me Earth and Environmental my freshman year. So we had 4 years of growth together, and he also coaches basketball at my school. So I'm a student rather than an athlete, but I know what makes a good teacher and what makes a good coach are often similar. Though I had Mr. Ghent as a teacher rather than a coach, I still think that the best manner to describe his influence would be in the terms of the game he knows best, basketball. Mr. Ghent coaxed me onto the team. When I didn't want to participate, he convinced me I had potential to capitalize on and something worth contributing to the game. He told me I could do it even when I struggled, and he reiterated that on the days when practice was too much to handle. He met me when I was a rookie and remembered my face, my name, my story, even when I was off the team. When I wanted to join the team again senior year, he welcomed me with open arms. When I thought I did well, Mr. Ghent was there to tell me I could do better. When the post-win bliss of a game well played was still lingering in the air, Mr. Ghent knew that I was capable of doing more, even when I did well enough to get by. He challenged me to be around the players that would teach me to be better. He confronted me when I was practicing at half the level I could, and was the first to acknowledge when I traveled and no one else noticed. With Mr. Ghent, I couldn't just pass through. I had to do better than that. Mr. Ghent was also the first to notice when I had a serious injury that I tried to walk off. He knew when I had hardship plaguing me,
but refused to sit on the sidelines. And he, unlike many others I had encountered, did not allow me to keep playing. He was the first to call out the referees when they had missed a foul he saw clearly, and even if no one else recognized the wrongdoing, I knew he did. He let nothing go by unnoticed. Mr. Ghent was so many things to me. He was a teacher, he was a coach, he was a confidant, but more than that, he was an advocate, on the courts and off of them. As it is said, a good coach will make his players see what they can be rather than what they are. I couldn't be more grateful to Mr. Ghent for showing me what I can be and then helping me as I found my path to the achievement of that potential.
I don't know. Morgan is obviously a very good fiction writer. We've had some freshman year. We'd like to get our kids to put something other than an A, B, C, or D down on a piece of paper. So I give a project where they have to do a little model and they do a little presentation, and they write a paper and they use vocabulary words for whatever it is, a river system that we're doing, whatever the project happens to be. And Morgan takes that project, which has 25 vocabulary words that she's going to work into. It's not a term cover, it's just, a story. I get a short story, 15, 16 pages long, that Stephen King would have been proud of. I had to go back and read it like 3 times to understand exactly the concept she was trying to put across there. She's a little too smart for me. She's going to be great at whatever she does because she puts her heart and soul into everything. She doesn't settle for what comes easy. And one of the neat things is when you get a student like Morgan, is that it makes you a better teacher. You get the opportunity to be at the top of your game. You can't take that easy road. Someone's going to ask you a question that, which those of us who teach know we really like that every now and then for them to ask us a question. She'll ask them one that you actually have to think about. It was always a pleasure to have her in class. I've enjoyed having her, and I know Forestview is very proud of everything that she has done for us. Thank you.
From the Gaston Early College High School, we have star student Seth Costner. Seth plans to attend UNC Charlotte and major in computer science. His star teacher is Elizabeth Miller, counselor at W.C. Friday Middle School.
During my years as Gaston County school student, many people have left a lasting impression on me. Through the 12 years of my education, I have had many difficult years, but I believe middle school were some of the toughest years. When given the opportunity to pick someone that has had the most influence on my personal life and education, I knew exactly who to pick. I was fortunate enough to meet my counselor, Miss Miller, in my 7th grade year by becoming an office assistant. I don't think a day went by that I did not stop in her office to talk about my day or just share a laugh. Miss Miller taught me how to be patient with people and show compassion to people. By just watching her with the kids and how she interacted with them, I could tell what kind of person she was. She pushed me to get involved with school and helped me realize that I could do anything. When given the opportunity to join the early college, she was the first one to encourage me to try something new. I believe to teach someone something, you not only have to tell them, you also have to show them through actions. I believe Miss Miller is a prime example of a great counselor and is one of the most amazing people I've ever come in contact with during my 12 years of school. Miss Miller's passion for her job is greater than anyone I have ever met. She truly enjoys the position she is in and tries to positively touch every student's life she comes in contact with. Miss Miller is able to see potential in kids that they have not yet seen in themselves. As an educator, Miss Miller is one of the most encouraging and genuine people I have ever met. However, I feel that Miss Miller stands out the most because of her long-lasting impact that she has had on my life. She has helped me develop into a better person and continues to support me in my education. She has inspired so many people and will surely do so for years to come. I'm so blessed to have had such an amazing woman in my life. This is why I believe that Miss Miller is by far the most influential person in my educational career.
I'm not good at these public speaking things, but I first want to thank Seth and his family. This is such a huge honor. Often in the work of counseling, we don't get a lot of recognition like this, so this definitely will propel me for the next few years. I'll be on a high. I was definitely blessed to have gotten to know Seth in middle school and spend 3 years with him. He was one of my peer helpers in 8th grade, and we've continued to keep in touch over his time at the early college. And I guess when I think of Seth, I think of laughter. Like, we would laugh we've been laughing all night tonight. We just like to laugh and have fun. He's an awesome young man, and I know he's going to go very far in his life, and so I'm excited to see what the future has to hold for him. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, from the Highland School of Technology, we have star student Destiny Harrell. Destiny plans to attend UNC Chapel Hill to major in computer science. Her star teacher is Adam Lynn, a math teacher at the Highland School of Technology.
The seniors from last year bragged on Mr. Lynn so high, so I had high expectations entering Calculus AP. Not only has he met these expectations, he exceeded them easily. He told us on the first day of class that this would all be about brain exercise, which didn't exactly sound exciting, but it turned into one of my favorite classes I've ever taken, and it really renewed my interest in math. A great teacher has several tools in his teaching tool belt. The first tool is knowledge. He's a jack of all trades. He has knowledge from advanced math to juggling. Not only does he know these topics, he loves to teach others how. The second tool is dedication. He's dedicated to the success of every student. When Mr. Lynn reviews the previous night's homework, he works out every question that someone didn't understand without hesitation. If someone doesn't understand a step, he will explain how and why each step is completed. Not only will Mr. Lynn use the entire class period to teach a review, but he's always available before or after school to help. If a student can't meet with him, he even does YouTube online lessons to watch a review. He understands the class is hard and even acknowledges our third fundamental theorem of calculus. It always gets harder, but he makes sure by the time we are finished that we understand it. The third tool is relatability. With Mr. Lynn's expansive knowledge and varied interests, he's immediately relatable. It's not uncommon to hear discussion about a topic other than calculus. We can discuss topics ranging from simple to really deep. We can go in one class period from talking about weekend plans to debating artificial intelligence in the same exact class period. This makes for a great dynamic, and it makes everyone buy into that brain exercise theory. These tools are extremely necessary to be an effective teacher, and his tool belt has all these tools and then some. Not only have I been well prepared for our AP Calculus exam coming up in a couple days now, I've also been given a lot of useful tools for life after high school. After the AP exam, I really hope we're able to get life lessons with Mr. Lynn.
I just want to first say thank you to Destiny. This is it's a big honor, and I appreciate it very much. I also want to say thank you to her parents. I've had her for 2 semesters, and I just want to tell you have nothing but to be proud of her. So well done as parents. Thank you. As I was thinking about Destiny, the thing that stuck out is that she's always warm. She's always got a smile on her face. She's here as a star student. You know she's hardworking. You know she's smart. But she always has a good attitude. And I can guarantee you not every high schooler has a good attitude. But she always does. And something else that stuck out was that she's one of those smart kids that likes to help other people. I'm sure every teacher in here has had one of those that rolls their eyes every time somebody asks a question because they just, they don't want to deal with it. But Destiny is always eager to help. I'm confident that whatever degree she gets, whatever career path she chooses, she's going to be a teacher, because she's going to come alongside anyone who's weaker than her or needs help, and she's going to help them. And I'm really thankful for that, and I appreciate you choosing me for this. Thank you.
From Hunter Huss High School, the star student is Aaron Rohlman. Aaron plans to attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill to major in pre-medicine. His star teacher is Ann Yancey, a social studies teacher at Hunter Huss High School.
Well, I would have to say that two of my most memorable moments in high school definitely came from being a part of Miss Yancey's AP European History class during my sophomore year. One of those moments came, we were learning about the Middle Ages, and she said that she was to bring in food that they ate during the Middle Ages. Well, the next day when she arrived, she had grass that she picked from her front yard and nuts that were laying there. So, when one student tried to eat the nuts, I was kind of concerned for him, but Miss Yancey reprimanded him, and she held to her promise, and she brought out almond milk and pastries. That taught me something about passion. Miss Yancey, she's passionate about teaching, and although teaching doesn't provide excessive monetary benefits, I could tell that she loves her job. And recently I've been trying to decide what to do with college and what to study, and I've chosen to follow my heart and to study biology. But Miss Yancey taught me that no matter how difficult it is, do what you love what you do, and you'll be happy. Furthermore, if you ask anyone that knows me, they'll tell you that I'm not artistic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm no Michelangelo, and Miss Yancey always had a way of bringing out my inner artist. One day she was drawing a diagram on the smartboard, and no one realized she was using an Expo marker until when she tried to erase it and it didn't come off the board. The look on her face is priceless, and I don't think I've ever laughed harder in my life. Even though she made that mistake, she acted really professionally and turned the situation to a learning experience for all of us. And she's really the only teacher that's challenged me to be creative and to use different methods to problem solve or analyze information. She taught me how to accept who I am, and she told me not to fight it, but to be my own person and to not let anyone change that. I'm happy to say that she's had a tremendous impact on my life, and I will miss her dearly as I go off to college this fall.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron wants to talk about European history class, so I'm going to say something about it too. When Aaron was in my European history class, he was the only sophomore in a class of juniors and mostly seniors. And he was the only one making A's. And they would marvel, man, how do you do that? Are you some kind of genius or something? And he just looked at him and said, I study. And that's not all he did. Besides studying, he has played 3 major sports during all of his years in high school. Of all the students I've ever known, I think that Aaron has the best time management skills. He's an expert. He does everything, and he does it well. So it's been wonderful to know him and to have him as a student.
Next, from North Gaston High School, we have Kendall Rease. She is the star student at North Gaston High School and plans to attend North Carolina State University to major in biological sciences with a pre-medicine track. Her star teacher is Mandy Lay, a health occupations teacher at North Gaston High School.
Good afternoon.
Throughout high school, there has been one person that has always been there, night or day, and just a text or a phone call away. She has strengthened, encouraged, and motivated me. Despite my own doubts, her confidence in me has been inspiration to strive for the impossible. This unmatched, inspiring woman is Miss Mandy Lay. At the end of 8th grade, I tried out for cheerleading at North Gaston. Mandy Lay was the head coach for the varsity squad. From the moment I met her, I knew we were alike in many ways. All I ever wanted to do was make her proud. I had the pleasure of having Miss Lay as my biomedical technology teacher. She was my coach and teacher for 3 consecutive years. Miss Lay has been a teacher, a coach, and practically a second mother. It is impossible to recall every moment in which Miss Lay left an impact on my life. However, there is one instance that I will never forget. During this past season, my squad was preparing to go to competition. A week before our first competition, one of the girls got injured, placing her out for the rest of the season. I was the only suitable replacement for her job in the routine. My head was spinning at the thought of having to do such an advanced stunt, especially with the pressure of its newness and unfamiliarity. With competition quickly approaching, my stress level went into overdrive. After failing numerous times, I became very discouraged. It was then that Coach said, "The one stunt I know will hit at competition is Kendall single base." Little did she know those simple words were my motivation to keep working even after multiple failures. When others might have simply encouraged me to keep my head up, Miss Lay made it clearly known that she had all the confidence in the world for me and my abilities. In the end, I hit my stunt because of the faith my coach had in me. She has made me stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally. She will always be Mandy to me because Miss Lay suggests such a simple relationship, when really it is so much more than that. From teaching me how to handle difficult life situations to encouraging me when I felt like giving up, Mandy has taught me more than she will ever know. Her strength of mind and character are 2 of her many attributes that I greatly admire. She is one of the strongest women I know, and I hope that I can someday influence someone as much as my role model has for me. So thank you.
Okay. I've had the pleasure and blessing of coaching and mentoring and teaching and advising in the Huss Club, Kendall, as she said, for 3 years. Although she's been in the program in health science and in the cheer program, all 4 years of high school, I had her for the last 3 because she had the other teacher and the other coach for the first year. But I've had the joy personally for the last 3 years, and I think she's taught me just as much, if not more, than I've taught her. And I've learned so much from her that she'll never know. She's challenged me, maybe not as much as I've challenged her and pushed her, but she's so intelligent and has so much drive that it challenges me as a teacher to have a student so bright as Kendall, and as a coach to have somebody that will take everything that you give them and do even more with it. What a blessing as a coach. So I never doubted her, and I never will. And her parents have a lot to be proud of, and so does she. And I just love this child, and I'm going to miss her. Congratulations.
From South Point High School, we have star student Madeline Killen. Madeline will attend Dartmouth College to major in economics and plans to attend law school. Her star teacher is Melinda Pierce, a social studies teacher at South Point High School.
My favorite teacher's favorite president once famously said, "There is nothing to fear but fear itself." However, I'm inclined to believe that if FDR had attended South Point High School, he would have edited his statement a bit. There is nothing to fear but fear itself, and a timed APUS history free response. The timed free responses, the test with 5 answer choices, the document-based questions, the textbook that you're actually expected to read, There's plenty to fear about AP US history. I admittedly spent a good bit of my time in that class, usually on days when grades were returned, wondering why that fear had not deterred me from signing up for it. Looking back, I'm glad that it didn't. A high school career without the influence and tutelage of Melinda Pierce is a far scarier alternative. Miss Pierce is a wonderful force of nature. She's who I want to be when I grow up. She gives slackers nightmares and gives the moot court team her living room every Sunday from 2 to 4. She's a walking encyclopedia on United States history, if encyclopedias were full of sass and color commentary and their own ideas on how things should have been done. She's the first person I thought to text when I got into Dartmouth, and she's the first person I'll think to visit when I come home for breaks next year. Most of all, though, she's a picture-perfect definition of what a teacher should be. She's passionate about her subject and about her students. She loves South Point High School, and she loves all of us too, and it's admirable and remarkable and comforting that we have this teacher who loves us and who we can tell loves us. I don't think anyone can even imagine a South Point without a Melinda Pierce. When I go to college in a few months, I know I'm going to have the hardest time in the world describing Miss Pierce to people who have never experienced her. On one hand, that'll be sad because my Miss Pierce stories won't be nearly as meaningful to them. But on the other hand, that'll be sad because I doubt anyone I meet will have had a teacher as dedicated and as fun as Miss Pierce. That's why Miss Pierce is my star teacher.
How do you top that? Thank you, Mr. Booker. Thank you, Gaston County Schools, and definitely thank you, the Gazette, and for giving me this wonderful opportunity to sing the praises of this amazing young woman. Madeline, you know, someone once said that success is a journey, not a destination. You, my dear, may have those finely honed magic tools for success, and I am quite thrilled to be along for your journey. Our relationship began, and I can appreciate what you just said, in a jam-packed AP psychology class. Madeline was a sophomore. Because the rows were alphabetized, she sat at the very back of the room, quietly and unassumingly. And as Erin did, each and every time she managed to create the curve for the class and also far outbested her upperclassmen peers. I knew then that Madeline was unique, and I secretly hoped that I would have another opportunity to watch her unfold. Happily, that opportunity came the following year. One of my favorite moments actually came for me in AP US history. I'm sure you'll remember this. It was a colonial travel brochure. Madeline and her partner chose Massachusetts as their colony. They decided to provide a sampling of authentic New England clam chowder. Well, I was all excited. The project arrived, the day arrived, and the project, and I realized that Madeline actually was designated, which was a good idea, to complete the very persuasive brochure, and her partner, otherwise BFF, EW, was to create the authentic meal and chowder. The crock pot arrived. I was so excited. I was so hungry. Even if it was 8 o'clock in the morning, I opened it up only to find Progresso. Progresso New England clam chowder. Now, don't ask me how I knew that was Progresso, but I was disappointed. Well, I gave a pretty decent imitation of fake grief and frustration. Did you think it was fake? Okay. It was pretty decent. Although shocked at her partner's choice, at least I hope so, and probably my response as well, she immediately regrouped, mustered enormous confidence, and delivered the most convincing dialogue on why we all want to settle in the Puritan colony of Massachusetts. I just about fell out of my seat. It was great. Madeline, now that you have decided to go to Dartmouth, Ivy League, in the fall, I do hope you have many opportunities to enjoy all things authentic in New England, including their famous chowder. Since then, our journey has taken us through Model UN conferences, you as its president, through countless, I'm sure you thought that too, junior marshal practices, you as the chief. And this year, my girl decided to astonish us once again by taking yet another new and extremely challenging journey, as she just said, moot court. I am elated to report that this evolving success story not only but in true Madeline fashion exceeded hers and our expectations. In her final argument at the Western Regional Competition last month, Dad, are you listening? I would hate you missed that. Madeline nailed it. Every hypothetical and absurd question that the rather cocky judge, he was fake, could muster, she had an equal and better answer. When she finished, he was actually speechless. And I could only say one word with tears coming down my face. Yes! The real lawyers in our entourage, I call them my boys, could not stop smiling the whole day. Madeline, your success story is only beginning, with so many exciting challenges and journeys ahead. Please don't forget my favorite reminder, of course not original for me, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I'm quite confident you already know that. Please know that I'm always here for you. Always. Godspeed, my precious child, and Godspeed to each of you. Thank you.
Everyone take a moment and just breathe this air. This is high ground we're on, folks. Park Scholarship, Dartmouth, and everything in between. Public education in Gaston County is a good thing. To the parents, thank you for trusting us and trusting all of these folks that are in this room to nurture what God created and gave you to raise. So take a moment and feel that pat on the back. Well done. And to all the educators, from administration, guidance counselors, to teachers, this is what it's all about. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this in this great afternoon. And we'd be remiss to not thank this gentleman standing here who's been panicking, trying to find pictures of people without people knowing what was going on, and printing it and doing all this. And I know that because I was in his office at 10 and there was still one white spot on this brochure that you all received today. So Todd, thank you for all your effort in pulling this off. Thanks again to the Gazette and the partnership that they are. Todd?
Thank you, Mr. Booker. And thank you to our STAR students for sharing their heartfelt stories about these truly wonderful STAR teachers recognized here this afternoon. As we conclude our program, I would like to share this quote. Teaching is a lifelong journey. To teach is to touch the lives of many, but to teach well is to make a difference in all the lives you touch. Congratulations, STAR teachers and STAR students. You are most deserving of this honor.